Let us see few questions and answers in design and analysis of algorithm. The source of this content is from here. What is brute force algorithm? Like the way you broom or clean your house. This is a straightforward approach, directly based directly on the problem statement and definition of the concepts which are involved. Then, what are the strength and weaknesses of brute force algorithm? Let us see the strength. First is wide applicability and simplicity, and yields reasonable algorithm for some important problems. For example, matrix multiplication, sorting, searching, and string matching. While the weaknesses is rarely yield any efficient algorithms, and some brute force algorithms are unacceptably slow, not as constructive as some other design techniques which we'll be seeing just now. What is exhaustive search? This is a brute force solution to a problem which involves searching an element with certain special property, usually among combinatorial objects such as permutation, combination, or subset of a set. Then we have question number 4. Give the general plan of exhaustive search. So how we do this exhaustive search? First, we generate a list of all possible solutions to a problem in certain systematic manner. Then what we do, we evaluate these potential solutions one by one, and we disqualify infeasible ones, which we find infeasible, we disqualify them. And for an optimization problem, we keep track of the best one found so far. And when the search ends, we announce that the solutions are found. Fourth is give the general plan of divide and conquer algorithms. As the name suggests, dividing first and then dealing with them. So this is the plan. A problem instance is divided into several small instances of the same problem. Ideally you need to have the same size. Then these smaller instances they are solved, and generally we use recursion for this, recursivity. Then if necessary, these solutions obtained are combined to get the solution of the original problem. We combine them to find the original solution. Given a function to compute, say, some value and inputs, the divide and conquer strategy suggests splitting the input into k distinct class, which belongs to in between 1 to n. And so we have certain k problems, subproblems. So the subproblems must be solved, and then method must be found, and we need some method to combine this some solution into a final solution as a whole. So if these subproblems are say relatively large, then we can again apply this divide and conquer strategy on this relatively large subproblems. Then we have a question, what is the advantage of divide and conquer algorithm? So the advantages of divide and conquer algorithm, first is it can solve difficult problems. It can provide algorithm efficiency, parallelism also, memory access, and round of control. These are all the advantages of divide and conquer algorithm. Define feasibility. What is the feasibility of a set? A feasible set or of candidate is only promising if it can be extended to produce not merely a solution, but we want an optimal solution. Then we say that these are the feasibility of the solution. So feasibility of solution. Define Hamiltonian circuit. Hamiltonian circuit. So a Hamiltonian circuit is defined as the cycle that passes through all the vertices of the graph exactly one. So you need to have a cycle. That means it could start and come back to the end, and also it must visit the vertices, because in graph there are vertices and edges. So all the vertex needs to be addressed, and they need to be visited only once. This is Hamiltonian circuit. State master theorem and its use. Now master theorem is quite difficult. You need to write it, but we'll try to give it for you. But there are various three options or expression for certain values. So if say some function is which belongs to theta n to the power d, and where this d, in the recurrence equation we can write it as t n is equal to a t n by b plus fn. Then theta n to the power d is the solution if a is less than b to the power d. Okay. Then Tn belongs to theta of n to the power t log n if a is b to the power d. And if the third case is less than b to the power d, then this will be theta n log b to the power a. So the efficiency analysis of many divide and conquer algorithm is greatly simplified and answered by the master theorem. It is a consequence of substitution only. Then question 10 is, what is the general divide and conquer recurrence relation? General divide and conquers recurrence relation, this is of the type Tn is equal to a Tn by b plus Fn. Now we have divided the n values into some b instance. So this will be a n by b, and each of it has a values. So a into Tn by b, and this is the recurrence relationship, or running time would be given by Tn a Tn by b plus Fn, where this Fn function is accounting for the time spent on dividing the problem into smaller ones and also on combining their solutions. So dividing and combining is Fn, and this is a Tn by b if they are divided into b parts and each of a size. Define merge sort. What is a merge sort? If you are provided with an array, you can divide it into two halves, say from 0 to n by 2 minus 1 and n by 2 to n minus 1. And sorting each of them recursively means again dividing it and dividing it until we reach to a atomic part, means undividable part. And then we merge the two smaller sorted array into a single sorted one. List the steps in merge sort. First we divide. So if you have an array which has 0 or 1 element, we just return S because it is already sorted. We don't require merge sort. Otherwise, we divide this A array into two arrays A1 and A2, and we each containing about half of the elements of A. About why? Because it may happen that the numbers are odd. Then recursion step is we recursively sort array A1 and A2, these two divided array. Then we conquer, like the conquer step, we combine the elements back in A by merging the sorted array A1 and A2 into a sorted sequence. Question 12 is, list out disadvantages of divide and conquer algorithm. First is conceptual difficulty. Then, of course, you are doing recursion, so there will be recursion overhead. All the recursive overheads are up here. You will find them. Then you have repeated subproblems. These three are disadvantage of divide and conquer algorithm. Define quicksort. What is a quicksort? This is an algorithm of you can use in many situations because it is not very difficult. It is good general purpose sort, and it also consumes relatively fewer resources during execution. So what we do here is we find in the list, we find the minimum, place it on the first position. Then in the rest of the list, we find the lowest and place it here in the second position. And this is how quicksort is being carried out. So it's quite simple. Now list of the advantages of quicksort. First is it is in place since it uses only a small auxiliary stack. First is it is not using much of the stack. It requires only n log n time to sort n items best time. It has an extremely short inner loop, of course. If you implement it, you will find it. And this algorithm has been subjected to a thorough mathematical analysis. A very precise statement can be made about performance issues. Though the worst time is n square, but still. List of the disadvantage of quicksort. It is recursive. See, it is recursive. Especially if recursion is not available, the implementation is extremely complicated. And the worst case time is n square, as opposed to the best time, which is n log n. It is fragile. That is, if you make a simple mistake in the implementation, if it went unnoticed, then the performance will be hampered badly or affected badly. What is the difference between quicksort and merge sort? Both quicksort and merge sort, they are divide and conquer technique, in which a given array is partitioned into subarrays and they are solved. So the difference lies in the technique that the arrays they are partitioned. For merge sort, the arrays are partitioned according to their position, and quicksort they are partitioned according to the element values. So let me add one more thing here. That in quicksort, what we do, we partition the value. So what happens here? One value is placed at the correct position in such a way that all value in the left, they are lower than lower than the this value and higher than this value. So the partitioning is like this. And again, this is divide and conquer, quick sort. But if quick sort, we take the mid value always, then it reduces to merge sort only, or say binary sort only. What is binary search? Binary search is an efficient algorithm for sorting an sorted array. So we compare, as I was suggesting in the earlier question, we have certain values. We go to the middle one. We check for the value if it is there. If it is not, or if it is the value is greater than, then we look in the right side. We do not go. We don't even see this left part. But if the value is lower than this central value, then we take the left part and we remove this part. This is how it is done. We search here. If k is less than am is the middle part, k is the key which is need to be searched. Otherwise, we go to the right part. List out the 4 steps in Starson's method. We divide Starson's method. We divide the input matrices A and B into n by 2 into n by 2 submatrices. Then using this n square scalar addition and subtraction, we compute all these n by 2 matrices like A1 A1 to H7 and B1 to B7. So there are 14 matrices. We recursively compute these 7 matrices products like Pi is equal to Ai into Bi, all A1 B1 A2 B2 till A7 D7. Then we compute the desired matrices RSTU of the result matrix C just by adding or subtracting various combination of these Pi matrices which we have found here, using only theta n square scalar additions and subtraction. Then define dynamic programming. What is this dynamic programming? This is an algorithm design method. First, dynamic programming is this, which can be used when a solution to the problem is viewed as the result of sequence of decision. So it is a technique of solving problems with overlapping subproblems. And these subproblems, they arise from recurrence relation, or recurrence relating a solution to a given problem with solution to its smaller subproblems only once, and recording the result in a table from which the solution to the original problem is obtained. So it was invented by Richard Bellman. What are the features of dynamic programming? First is optimal solution to subproblems are retained just to avoid recomputing their values. Then decision sequence containing subsequence, they are suboptimal and they are not considered. And it definitely gives the optimal solution always. This is the power of dynamic programming. What are the drawbacks of dynamic programming now? First is the time and space efficiency requirement are high, since storage is needed at all levels. And optimality should be checked at all levels. What is the principle of optimality now? This principle of optimality states that an optimal sequence of decision has the property that whenever the initial stage or decisions must constitute an optical sequence with regard to stage resulting with the first decision. Sixth, this is the second part of today's discussion on question and answer. Write the difference between greedy method and dynamic method. Now, greedy method, only one sequence of decision is generated, where in dynamic programming many number of decisions are generated. In greedy method, it does not guarantee to give a US optimal solution always, but in dynamic programming, you will get optimal solution always. So what is greedy technique then? Greedy technique suggests a greedy grab of the best alternative available in the hope that a sequence of locally optimal choice will give rise or will give you a globally optimal solution to the entire problem. So the choice must be made as follows. First is feasible. It has to satisfy the problem constraint. Then local optimality, that it has to be the best local choice among all feasible choices available on that step. Then irrevocable means once it is made, it cannot be changed on a subsequent step of the algorithm. You are required to write 2 characteristics of greedy algorithm. So to solve a problem in an optimal way, we construct the solution from a given set of candidates. And as this algorithm proceeds, 2 other sets get accumulated among this one set contains the candidate. So 2 sets, one set will contain the candidates that have already been considered and chosen, while the other set contains the candidate that have been considered but rejected. Okay. What is greedy choice property? The first component is greedy choice property is a globally optimal solution can arrive just by making a locally optimal choice. So every time we choose the local optimal and we assume that we'll get to a global optimum solution. And the choice made by greedy algorithm, it depends on choices made so far, but it cannot depend on future choices or on solution to the subproblem. And it only progresses in a top-down fashion. Top-down fashion. What is greedy method? So greedy method is again an important design technique which makes a choice that looks best at the moment. So as we said, we choose the local best, local optimal. So if we have provided with some n inputs, they required us to obtain a subset that satisfy certain constraint that is giving us a feasible solution. So a greedy method suggests that one can devise an algorithm that works in stages, different stages, considering just one input at a time. What are the steps required to develop a greedy algorithm? First, we determine the optimal substructure of the problem. Then we try to develop a recursive solution. Then we prove that at any stage of recursion, one of the optimal choices is greedy choice, thus making it always safe to make a greedy choice. Then we show that all but one of the subproblems induced by having made the greedy choice are empty. And then we develop a recursive algorithm and convert it into iterative algorithm. What is greedy technique? Greedy technique suggests a greedy grab of best available. We have seen this a lot of time because greedy technique is quite important. So greedy technique, it suggests to just grab the best alternative available in the hope that the sequence of local optimal choice will give you a globally optimal solution for the entire problem. So first is we check for feasibility, locally optimal, and then irrevocable. Means once made, it cannot be changed on a subsequent step of the problem. Then what are the labels in prim algorithm used for? Labels. This is graph related. So prim's algorithm makes it necessary to provide each vertex, not in the current tree, with information about the shortest edge connecting the vertex to a tree vertex. So the information is provided by attaching two labels to a vertex. One is the name of the nearest tree vertex and then the length of the corresponding edge. 14. How are the vertices not in the tree split into? How are the vertices not in the tree split into? So the vertices that are not present in the tree, they are split into two sets. First is fringe and second is unseen. Fringe means it contains the vertices that are not in the tree but are adjacent to at least one vertex tree. Unseen means all other vertices of the graph are called unseen because they are yet to be affected by the algorithm. 15. What are the operations to be done after identifying a vertex this to be added to the tree? The answer would be, after you identify a vertex u star to be added to the tree, we need to do the following operations. Two operations exactly. First, you move u star from the set v minus vt to the set of tree vertices vt. Then for each remaining vertices in this v minus vt that is connected to u star by a shorter edge that the u's current distance label, update its label by u star and the weight of the edge between u star and u respectively. What is the use of Dijkstra algorithm, shortest path algorithm? This is used to solve single source shortest path algorithm from given vertex called the source in a weighted connected graph. So we find the shortest path to all its other vertices. So this is a single source shortest problem. This asks for a family of path, each leading from the source to the different vertex in the graph. Though some path may have some common edges. What is spanning tree? Spanning tree of a connected graph G, is a connected acyclic subgraph C, acyclic, means it is not necessary you return to the vertex again. It is a connected acyclic graph of G that includes all of these vertices, acyclic. What is minimum spanning tree? MS tree is a weighted connected graph of G, any graph G. A spanning tree of G is having the minimum total weight. So this is about some algorithms and data structure, and we'll be taking the second part shortly. Thank you so much.